Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Aidan, Tell Me a Story. Today I have a very special guest, Robin Ramos at Robin A. Ramos. Robin isn't just my best friend, she's my built-in sibling. Road trip co-pilot even if she did fall asleep while driving.
One time, and you can never live it down.
And the person who's been by my side through over 10 shows, cross-country adventures, and the hardest moments of my life. She's literally picked me up off the floor when my mom Peggy passed and brought me back home to Texas. We've lived together in New York City multiple times, bicker like siblings, and somehow keep growing up side by side. She's not just a bestie, she's family.
Cute. Right.
We did talk about a lot of things. If you catch the episode of me, Robs, and Jules, we did touch on a lot of things. And we may have talked about some things there, but today we're going to be going a little bit deeper. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. Like I tell everybody, one of my goals of this podcast is to share people who inspire me or people who are important to me, share my people with the world.
Cute.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, do you want to start with how we met or...
Yeah, like younger days, I guess.
Younger days. I have plenty of pictures to add throughout this podcast.
So that's what I was telling you before this. I don't have any of our pictures from high school. Nothing. Nothing from pre-pandemic because, I don't know if you remember this.
Oh, yes, you lost your iCloud.
Yes, everything was wiped. I don't even have, like, my old logins, nothing. So, none of my pictures, all of it's gone. Into the abyss.
It's a good thing you have me as your bestie. I have so many pictures. Thousands upon thousands.
So we met, technically, I guess, in
6th grade.
Yeah, but we didn't become good friends until, I would say, junior year of high school.
Yeah.
During Cindy Waltz.
I would say sophomore. I would say sophomore year is when we became friends loosely.
Yeah.
Junior year is when we became really good friends.
Sophomore year is when we were dabbled in the shenanigans, not really. Because Aidan's always been a goody little two-shoes, the kind that's always like, the rule, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble.
My dad was in prison.
It was very much, we had to test the waters. It was baby steps with you. But then, junior year is when we locked it in.
Yes, the infamous... hiding in the catwalk with the principal doing a whole freaking teacher assembly.
That was crazy.
That was
crazy.
So crazy.
I've never had my heart beat like dun dun. Well, I have multiple times, but that was a big
moment.
Yeah, of me being like, man, maybe I really should like rethink my life choices. Like, what did I do to put myself in this specific situation? I didn't change, but I did reflect.
And it took her forever to get down from the catwalk because she is afraid of heights, and it is very high height.
Very high height.
So we had
in the dark. Don't leave that part out.
We did have to wait for everybody to leave too because we could not risk this slow ass mofo getting us all caught. Okay, so let's start with one of my favorite stories of yours is how you wanted to be an actor when you discovered like, oh, this is the reason I want to be an actor.
So when I was younger, this is one of my earliest memories. I remember I was in the car with my grandma and we were going to the bank, and I don't remember who. I was in the back seat. She was in the front. Somebody else might have been there. Who knows? But I remember she had asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I told her that I wanted to be a puppy. And she crushed my childhood dreams. I remember I was like, this freaking lady, she just doesn't want me to shine. She told me basically, long story short, people can't be puppies. But in my childhood brain, I'm like, how dare you tell me what I can and cannot be? So then I decided that day, well, if I can't be a puppy, like for real, I'll just act like one. So then I was like, well, just become an actress. And thus this personality was born.
Have you got to play a dog yet?
I've played Donkey from Shrek before in DI when I was younger. I've
clothes, 4 legs,
and I walked with cups on my hands and on my feet to make the hoof noises.
That's
and
cute. DI.
No dogs, no.
So your time will come
soon. Hopefully.
You have That'd be hilarious. I'd love that.
Like in a pedigree commercial.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take a voiceover. I'll take a dog voiceover. I'll take it.
So we mentioned this. We talked about this briefly during our podcast with me, you, and Jules. You're making your acting comeback now. You've been taking a little step back. You've been getting your affairs in order.
They're in order for sure.
They're a lot more in order than
They
what
were.
they've been.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
You're
Proud of
welcome.
myself.
Last everybody heard, you were still in Texas.
Right.
So you're back in New York now.
Yes. Back in New York. Back to the old grind. Back to the beautiful city where I was meant to be. I'm a city girl.
I love New York. It is so stressful.
Me too, yeah.
So chaotic, but I love
It's
it.
Fun chaos, though.
Is
Even
it?
when it's stressful, I'm still grateful.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I was grateful in Texas too, and there were some stressful times there. But it's a different kind of stress.
for sure.
It's like a scary stress because it's this or the streets. Still,
This or the
it's great.
streets.
We always come out on top, you know.
But so how's your comeback to acting been? What are the steps? What have you been doing? What's been
Well, I got some headshots done while I was back in Texas.
nice?
Cheap, thank God.
And I'll show you some of them right here.
Yeah, and I've just been back on the apps, doing the websites,
By the
plugging all
apps,
my information in. I just mean
casting
backstage,
networks, backstage,
casting network.
all.
I want to get back on. I think it is
Actors Access or Casting Networks?
the one where you have to go in person,
uh,
but they don't have any.
Central Casting.
They didn't have any available this month, so I'm gonna have to check at the beginning of next month.
Okay.
Maybe the end of this month.
Central Casting. For those of you who don't know, it's a free website where you can you have access to background work throughout New York and New Jersey. They reach out to you though, and it's nice because a lot of the casting websites you have to pay for, and so this one is 100% free. But yeah, and I highly encourage people to do background work because you get to be on set, you get to network, you get to get paid to do what you love. You may not be principal, but you never know. I just did an interview with Esther, and Esther got bumped up on a Netflix film with a line and a credit, and yeah.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. That just goes to show you never know.
You genuinely never know.
No.
Yeah, so I highly
I
suggest
do
background work.
want to get back into classes. So I went on to INTAR, the
Latino Theater Company.
yeah, and I looked up some stuff on there. They don't have anything available for the rest of this month, obviously. I don't even think till next month. But I want to get into classes, so I don't know how to find free, because I don't want to pay for them. Maybe I'm being cheap. I don't mind paying, but I just don't want to pay an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
And when I looked online, everything I saw.
Everything's an arm and a leg, Robin. Everything is an arm and a leg, and that's the unfortunate reality for a lot of this. You stumble across great things, like with my INTAR. Like, I'm so grateful that it's free because I cannot afford that right now. But it'll come when it comes, and you just got to keep an eye out, and I'll definitely keep an eye out for you too. There's a lot of access. It's just hard to find.
Because I really want to get back in classes. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like for me, my main goal, getting back into it and stepping back into it, is I want to start with stage. Because that's what I fell in love with to begin with, you know?
It's what we know.
It's so much fun.
It's our bread and butter.
So much fun being on stage and everybody's staring at you and you're in costumes and you rehearse and you build such a good chemistry with the cast. And don't get me wrong, I know you do that with film as well, but it's different.
It's just not the same because film is so, whereas stage you rehearse for days, months, weeks.
The same thing over and over and over, and you go through these relationships with these people and you dive deep into these characters.
Discover nuances.
Yes, I just love it so much. So I want to get back into that. That's going to be my main focus. Especially now that it's summertime. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
For sure.
And I want to get back into Shakespeare. I don't know if a lot of y'all know this, but I actually really, really like Shakespeare. Aidan knows this.
I do not.
I love it. Do I like reading all the plays? No. Do I like watching them and performing them? Yes. Oh, 100%.
Really?
It's
You
so
like
much fun.
watching Shakespeare?
I do, like live Shakespeare live.
Oh, God. I'm
Nice.
like, because it's just like, for me, having to keep up with everything and the way he speaks.
No,
it's just,
so, it's like a song to me. I feel like we're singing a song, and I'm like...
That's very cute. Shakespeare would be proud of you.
Wasn't he, like, not even a good person?
I don't even know. Was anybody back then? Was anybody ever?
Right. I guess that's true. He was a white man, so he really could only...
So the latest project that you've got to work on and that I got to be part of with you was our alumni showcase at SHS. Do you ever want to do that again?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, if we happen to be in town at the same time
yeah.
while it's going on, why not?
I mean, we don't have to do a song and dance together again,
No.
but...
My thing is, and don't get me wrong, I loved it. It was fun. I want to do a scene. We're not singers. I don't mean to throw you into it because you can have a lot of singing roles. I'm not a singer.
I'm not a singer either.
I don't... That's not how I shine. And I'm sorry, baby, but if you put me on the stage, I'm going to want to shine. So I feel like if they opened it up to monologues or scenes, I would be more willing to...
jump right in.
Yeah.
But I feel like we did great with what we got.
Oh, 100%. And especially considering... Full disclosure, we listen and we don't judge. Aidan and I practiced maybe one time in person?
Maybe twice. I don't remember.
I can only remember once. I want to say twice. I know for sure once over the phone. For sure.
Because you were in Texas and I was here in New York.
Yeah. So we practiced one time over the phone while I was working at the bar.
And I flew in just for this event. I flew in for like 3 days or 2. Something crazy short.
He did.
I was there. There, gone.
It was, yeah. So I don't know if I would do that. Personally, myself, I just don't know if I have the funds for that. But if we happen to be in Texas again, and when it goes on, I'm down to do it again. Because that was a lot of fun. Was it perfect?
No.
No.
But we weren't aiming for perfection.
No,
I feel like both of us
fun.
both of us were in the mindset of nostalgia and fun and getting to perform with all of our people because we got to reconnect with all of our high school besties.
I know, it was so much fun.
Oh.
Being there and just rehearsing again and being, honestly, shouts out to teachers. I could never be a teacher to dedicate my outside time to doing extra stuff. Because I thought about it. Don't get me wrong. I thought about it. I was like, you know what? If this acting thing doesn't work out, maybe I can be an acting teacher.
I've never thought about it.
You have to dedicate your whole life to these kids. And I'm sorry, excuse my French, but them kids. It was too much at times. Just the energy of theater kids. Y'all know. And I don't remember being that energetic when we were kids, but I know for a fact we were. And not only were we energetic, we were mischievous. So we were worse.
Speaking of mischievous, our high school shenanigans were crazy. Crazy.
Honestly, I think about back at that time sometimes, and we got away with so much. Honestly, it was like a movie. It was honestly like a movie. I would not redo anything again. Maybe again, I would go to school more if I was gonna redo it.
She was a little bit of a truant,
but
risk.
Even then, the fact that nothing even happened from that, like, stay in school. But stay in school. But I'm just saying, if you find an alternative way to make things happen.
It could happen. I just feel like I did a whole podcast about this, about high school shenanigans. Catch that here. But there were so many moments. Robin was the first person I skipped school with. And it just was a downhill spiral from there.
Listen, and I never meant to be a bad influence on people. I never meant to be that way. I just wanted us to all have fun. Yeah. I'm all about fun. I'm all about a good time. And if I knew a way to have a good time, well, I'm inviting you. You're a good time. I know we're going to have a good time together, so let's just
have a good
time. Mm-hmm. And that was my mindset back then. That's still kind of my mindset now. So,
no, I don't blame you. We just got into so much mischief.
One time, don't know if you talked about this on your podcast, but
go ahead.
The one time I remember skipping, this is bad. We were skipping MatCast. So Aidan and I did a broadcast class, and it was 8th period, the last class of the day. And all 7th period, we had theater, and I don't think we were working on anything. Mm-mm. So we were playing
hide and
seek, per usual. And when the class bell rang, we didn't want to give up our hiding spot, so we kept hiding, and we were like, whatever, we just won't go to MatCast. Well, I'll say her name, bleep it if you want. Amy McCormick snitched on
I ain't bleeping it.
I no hard feelings. She knows she was a snitch back in the day. She's different now. It's fine. But
she knows we love her.
Really, I mean, it's been like 11 years since this happened. She had MatCast with us, and she snitched, and she told our teacher that we were in class in 7th period and that we were playing hide and seek. So then, Robles, we're hiding, right? We're behind a bubble bar.
Under a bubble bar, which is basically just a long bar, huge.
on wheels.
Plenty of space for people to hide, but nobody ever knows or expects
We're
it.
pushed up against the
Gate.
to the cage where like all of the electrical supplies is, so no one can see us on the other side. We're hiding there, we're hiding, and we hear jingling of the keys, and the light gets flipped on, and Robles comes in, and she's
Pissed.
She's pissed. She's like, everybody stop. I think Amy came out to talk to her. Amy Bouquet was hiding as well. She came out.
Different Amy.
She came out to talk to her and was like, what's going on? What's up? And Robles was like, I know Aidan and Robin are here and they're not supposed to be here. Know that they're here and they're skipping. Where are they? But shouts out to everybody because they
held it down.
Amy Bouquet, Donnie. Who else was in that class? Kaylee.
I think it was just all of us.
Amy, everybody. Y'all held it down because nobody snitched. Not one person.
All of them held it down. That's very
All
true.
of them held it down and nobody snitched on us. So they never found us, right? We never came out until Robles left, and then we ran out. And I don't know if we went to class or if
I
we
went
just
to class.
left. Who knows?
I went like this to Amy.
Funny.
That was one of my favorite memories. I told that story in my high school reflection kind of thing.
Another time I remember skipping was this is embarrassing. This is senior year in my English class. I had Miss Saunders. She did not like me. Looking back, upon reflection, I get it. I get it 100%. I was a hard student. I was talkative, loud. I skipped all the time, half-assed all my work, even though I was more than capable of doing it. It was regular English. I'm not putting my full effort into regular English my senior year. No. Anyway, I wasn't going to do it. So, I remember I planned to skip her class that day, but something happened and she saw me in the hallway, so I ended up going to her class. Well, it was, I think, you and Nellie?
It was me and Nellie. Me and Nellie.
Wrote a note to Miss Saunders saying that he needed to be interviewed or go to the office or something, but Nellie had beautiful penmanship, most beautiful cursive.
Looks like a teacher.
Yes, so she wrote, please excuse Robin going to the office, so yada, 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 yada. But something was misspelled. I came into class, gave it to Saunders. She was about to let me leave, and then she was like, wait a minute.
Nope. Nicholas
Called it, yeah.
He was like, she's skipping. That's not real. He was calling us out. I was so perturbed, Nick, for a
I forgot
hot
about
minute.
that. That was messed up.
Messy, Nick. Just because you didn't get to skip.
Because you didn't get to skip.
So sorry.
It was another good time.
That was a really good time.
Man, they clowned me for days and days. I get why she didn't like me. And then later, towards the end of the year, I owed over 140 hours, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to make those up through like not volunteer, but like just
making up hours.
Yeah. Going to school on the weekend, going to school.
After school,
beginning of school, during lunch. So lunchtime, I would sit in her class. And the class before us was so good. I know she hated us. They were so quiet. So, like, nobody said a word. They did their work. And then they would come to our period. And it was...
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Wow. Oh, one other thing we could talk about, which I think is kind of cool, that I don't know if this is a thing everywhere. Theater kids were popular in high school for us.
Yeah.
Like before us, and I don't know about after us, but
I have no clue about after us.
No
but
clue.
Before us, for sure.
Before us and during us. Yeah. We were like kind of popular, and I think that's kind of cool.
I don't like to use the word popular.
Popular.
But we were well known. But it makes sense that we were well known because we put ourselves out there for everything.
That's true.
We were not ones to hide. We were in so many clubs. Not only were we in the clubs, we were in charge of the clubs. We were vocal about the clubs. We were
in the MacCast, which is the news network that was broadcasted over the whole school during school.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, and I was the only openly gay kid in school. One of the only.
And I was best friends with one of the only openly gay kids in school. So, and actually, speaking of that, when I came back to live in Texas for a little bit, I went to this hometown bar, right, called VI, for the very first time. And when I pulled up in there, there was this group of guys, like, in the back. And as I walked in, they said, hey, that's Aidan's girl. Aidan's girl. That's Aidan's girl. I said,
God.
They all knew me as Aidan's girl.
That's hilarious.
But it was actually because of Amy McCormick. They knew me as Aidan's girl.
Because of Amy McCormick?
Because of her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
They were all his friends.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah.
hilarious.
So-
One time we were doing a show called Cinderella Waltz. And Robin was this like crazy mom who had an axe and she had like wheeled it around everywhere. And I was this character called Troll, right?
It was
And
such a fun show.
it was such a fun.
Such a
It's
fun
such a free show. You
Yeah.
just get to be. You just get to have fun and play.
Yeah.
It was so fun. Robin hit one of the main characters in the head with the axe, and the axe, not like the axe part, the metal part wasn't metal.
It was wooden on the backswing. He did duck, but I think he came up too fast. Or
Something.
something on the backswing.
Real hard.
I felt so bad because I remember he felt nauseous after
Yes,
that.
he was sitting in the
He had
audience
to
like-
leave, right? Yeah, he had to sit in the audience.
That was
Fucking
crazy times.
So bad. I loved that show, man. It was so much fun.
Such a good show.
That was like one of my favorite shows to be in with you.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
Yeah.
Addams Family. I loved Addams
Stop.
Family too. That was our senior show. That was the last show we ever did, and that was the last show ever performed on that stage before they tore it down.
That's crazy.
Yes, you didn't know that? You knew that.
I knew that, but didn't they do
They didn't do any other musicals.
That's true. Yeah. I was gonna say, didn't they do like a medley or something? But maybe I'm thinking that was at the Texas. So many good memories. Like when we drove back from New York to Texas. Let's talk about it since you want to talk about me falling asleep. Let's set the scene real quick.
All right, picture it. 2017. We call it the Summer of Love. This was the start of it.
So I was dirt poor and extremely depressed, and Aidan called me up and was like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, ding ding.
Hey, Robin. I'm going to be moving back home from college. I don't want to do this anymore. Do you want to, move, help me? I'll pay for your ticket. It's only like $89.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah!
And thus the Summer of Love was born. Flew up. We had a good time. That's my first time ever being in New York. That's when I was like, oh, I definitely want to
Here's
be
these
here.
pictures.
Great time, right? Now, boom, cut to the day of moving, right? We're moving all of Aidan's stuff from his dorm room in his little, rest in peace,
Beto! I love Beto.
in his little hoopty.
Very comfortable. I see why you fell asleep.
And everything was loaded up when we got up early, and it was misty, and it was nasty outside, and it was cold, and
New Jersey.
gross. Yeah, and we were off. We had $10 in the bank. We were poor.
Mom had gotten us a lot of Walmart gift cards to stop at the Murphys along the way to help us get gas.
But long story short, we did not have enough money for a hotel or anything like
No,
that.
definitely not. Mind you, I had been driving for the majority of this trip so far. And nighttime came, and I like to keep it cold. I like to keep it cold, and I like to keep it
Freezing.
noisy.
Tell him for real. He likes to keep it freezing,
and
like
noisy.
20 degrees.
The car doesn't go to 20 degrees. It
It's up north. You
wasn't that cold.
Wait, wait.
But I do like to keep it cold, and I like to keep it loud. And we were driving, and I was making my way downtown. The next thing, we pulled over because it became nighttime. We pulled over to one of the rest stops, and Robin doesn't like how cold it is, so she couldn't sleep well.
It was just cold and
And
uncomfortable. And
She
it was
didn't like
just-
how uncomfortable it was because the back seat was full, and we couldn't necessarily lean our seats all the way back, but the passenger seat did go back far because we made sure to do that.
Well, I wouldn't say far. I would. It went from this.
That's far if you're moving all your shit.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, I didn't get any sleep. Right. So boom, cut to the next morning. It's my turn to drive, and I'm driving, and maybe I had a good 2 hours under my
Maybe.
belt.
And I was asleep.
It wasn't long. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember driving long. Next thing I know, the roads have gone like this. And I hear, and I hear Aidan, oh my God!
I throw off my eye mask and I'm like, what?
My eyes were in the grass, man. I drove off the road, and that was so scary. My heart was like, thank God we were in
This was in Tennessee, and there's big trees and stuff in the medium, so it wasn't super dangerous. We were
yeah, we didn't go
off a
It could
cliff.
have been worse, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Could have been way
Had
worse.
I fallen asleep off a cliff, that would have been crazy.
And it wasn't that much traffic.
No,
either.
I want to say there was no other cars. We had enough time to And like
Figure
for
it
Aidan
out.
to yell at me and then for us to switch spots.
Yeah.
And I never drove again.
Ever.
Life
No.
hack. If you want to be a passenger princess for life, just fall asleep at the wheel one time and they'll never let you drive again.
I don't. Also, side note, another crazy thing, we didn't see a single accident until we got to Texas.
Literally.
Immediately, too, right when we
It
pulled
was
into
like
Texas.
back to back to back to back the moment we hit Texas.
When we
So
hit the
many
ocean of
accidents.
Dallas.
Oh, yeah, the Dallas Ocean. We were so loopy. Oh, I got so confused for a minute. It was, right. This is always hard for me to say. White Rock Lake. White Rock. White Rock. White Rock.
White Rock Lake?
Yeah.
I call it the Dallas Ocean.
Yeah, because when we hit it, we thought we hit the ocean. I was like, we took a wrong turn somewhere. Like, where? What? Yeah, the Dallas Ocean.
Hilarious. So as we talked about a little bit in the last podcast and so far today, what was it like for you moving back, having to move back home after living here? And I know it wasn't your first time because you moved here for a couple months during the summer, so you got like a taste of it, and then you went back when you had that relationship.
Yeah. It's humbling. I'm not gonna lie. It's humbling. It's a ego check for sure. And then it's just being grateful that I even have a home to go back to. And I don't know if it's just my ego for real or what it is, but it is kind of like, damn, like when is there just gonna be a stretch of good years? Which I was here for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's a good stretch, you know?
That's a long time.
But like I don't want to have to keep moving back home.
I mean, life happens.
Life happens, and it's not like when we're literally in the middle of a recession. We went through a freaking pandemic. Like we've gone through a lot. So the first time I moved back home was after college. I was extremely depressed, working all the time, hated the people that I lived with, hated all my friends. I didn't have any like real friends.
No, her roommates were her friends, and they just were kind of shitty.
They were, yeah, just not good friends. I moved back and then was there for a little bit. Yeah, moved to New York, was here for the summertime, moved back, was in a terrible relationship. We don't have to get into it.
Just don't get into terrible relationships, and when you see red flags,
just run. It's hard to say don't get into terrible relationships because it's not like things are terrible to begin with. You know what I mean? That's how it always starts out. It's always great to begin with. They love bomb you. They give you gifts. It's amazing. They give you everything you've ever wanted, and then slowly but surely it's conditional where you're like, well, I like all these things that you're doing for me. You don't like how I dress, so if I change how I dress, you'll keep doing all the nice things that you used to do for me. And then it's okay, well, if I don't hang out with these people, then you'll keep doing the things that you used to do for me. If change everything about myself, you'll keep, like, it's crazy. It's little things,
crazy.
you know, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh my god, who even am I?
The only story that I have for this is he didn't like the fact that I would tell Robin I loved her. And it's like, he said, you never know, because he was worried that I was going to take Robin. You never...
And I checked him. I was like, I have known Aidan for years. I've known him before you, and I'm going to know him after you. Like, I don't
think she has anything to worry about.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous, but...
Same thing, and I love you. And I love you.
And I love that you love me, and I love that I love you,
Yeah,
but...
No. Only if we had to do a lavender marriage because, like, being gay became illegal.
Which you never know where the world's turning to.
You might want to cut that out.
No.
They might use it as evidence.
No, but back to the story at hand. You moved back to Texas after that relationship. You were in that.
Yeah.
And then...
Moved back here in 2019. And then was here until the end of 2023. And then, yeah, I moved back into Texas again. Humbling.
I feel like that must have been a lot harder for you because you had been here for such a long period and a long stretch at that point. You had made your roots, you had made your friends, you had planted your seed and started to see it grow here.
Yeah.
But what did you learn from that, and what would you change if you could?
I learned that it's, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I want. The universe is going to do what she wants to do regardless. And I remember I had spoke to a coworker of mine. Shout out to you, Sasha. She does tarot cards and stuff. And I remember one day I came into work and I was like, just in my head about a lot of things. She started reading stuff for me. Like she was just like, it felt inclined to. And she told me that she was like, you should have been gone a while ago. And I knew that Like, I knew it. I was working 3 jobs at a time, no days off for at least 2 years at this point. And it was just, don't get me wrong, it was fun and I loved it, but it was so hard. It was so unbelievably hard. I wasn't doing any acting. I wasn't doing any art. I was just working all the time.
For 5 years.
So it was very much me then having to swallow my ego and swallow my pride and be like, okay, let me call my parents. And I waited to the very last minute. But they were always telling me I had a place back. And that was so like, it's so, I'm very grateful. But it's hard to have to go back with your tail between your legs in a way. And be like, yeah, hey, I know I said I'd never need to come back, but...
And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like how you handled the situation and how you took control of it and you just owned it and let it be what it was. And you knew that you were going to end up back here.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you know that wasn't, that was a temporary setback. That wasn't a forever situation. So I'm proud of you for how you handled it. You got your shit together during that time period of being back in Seguin. You figured your shit out. What changes
and
would
I,
you...
Again, I'm grateful for that time because I did get to rekindle a lot of old friendships. I'm so many old people that I don't think I would have ever run into again.
Deepened a lot of friendships.
Yeah, deepened a lot of friendships. I went back to the old restaurant I used to work at back during the summer of love. And I was again swallowing my pride and sending that text to go back I loved it. I cried so many times to Aidan. I called him so many times and was like, Aidan, I want to just explode. Because it is just, there's a lot of small-minded mentalities where we're from. Mm. And it's very, very annoying to have to block that mentality out.
Those voices.
Because there's so many, like when I told people I was coming back, there was so much, why? You're just going to be in the same position you were in to begin with. Why are you going back? Just stay here. We want you here. And it's like,
I'm not meant to be here.
I'm not, and why would you say that? I called people out so many times that there was like a good 4 people that were like, you're just going to be in the same position. I said, why would you even say that?
You never told me this. Who was it?
A lot of people.
That's
multiple
crazy.
people. Yes. So many people.
That's crazy.
Yes. And then it was a lot of, and I get like, people were like, we're going to miss you. We're going to miss you. You add so much light. You add so much.
Of course.
I know. And
we're us.
I know. And that's what I want to be like, listen, I'm grateful and I'm thankful that you guys, I add light, but I need to add light to my own life.
And light your own flame first.
Yes. And it's kind of a guilt feeling that I feel like, I'm like, damn, you're just trying to make me feel guilty to stay because I'm sorry. That's not how I operate. If anything, you're going to push me way more. And now...
A certain sense of it is, though, a little bit of guilt to try to get you to stay, but also because of how much people love you, they want you. They want to feed off of your energy, too. Which is, I mean, our energy is pretty great. Especially for the people that get to be around it so often and so frequently. We're cool people, and cool people attract cool people, and cool people like to know that cool people are with them. And by cool, I mean a lot of things. It's not just like cool.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Just genuine, genuine.
Good-hearted, kind people.
Yeah.
So what would you change if you could about the 5 years stint that you did have here? If you could tell yourself anything and sit yourself down and be like, hey, Robin, you need to make sure that your shit is together, or like, here's what you need to do so that you don't end up in this position.
And when before I moved here, I would have
this time or the first time?
The first time.
Uh-huh.
Like if I could go back and tell myself 2019 Robin before I had moved here for the second time, the third time I moved here now, for the second time, I would have made sure I had more than $1,000 in the bank. Because I don't even think I moved here with that for the first time. I had nothing. And I still was like, but then that also goes to show as well, like, resilience is crazy, man. But just because we can doesn't mean we should still put ourselves in these positions. And that's why going into it now, older, wiser.
You set yourself up for success.
Yes. I wouldn't have been in that relationship that I was in. I would have broken up with that, done with that. And then I would have...
But while you were here, the things that led to your departure, is there anything that you would have told yourself that you're willing to share?
Just to get a better job, I guess. I was working at this Australian place because I really liked the perks. I loved my coworkers, loved them. I loved being able to be not micromanaged. We didn't have a manager. We got everything for free.
And that's very hard to find in the restaurant industry.
It's very hard. I met so many fun, interesting people, met a lot of famous people, had a lot of good connections, right? From a lot of like business owners, like a lot of good connections for Williamsburg.
And the head of DreamWorks.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I met a lot of really cool people, but I made no money. So, in that stint, I would have left. I'm still grateful though. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Because it's not like I didn't try to leave. I tried to leave so many times and I got so many other side jobs and still worked there. I had so many other side jobs. It just never worked out. And again, I think that's just the universe. It's just, when it's not your time, it's not your time.
The friend, though, that read your tarot and everything, was she from that Australian...
No, she's from New York. Well,
No.
She's from Florida, New York.
No, I'm saying, was the friend who read your tarot cards, was she at that job?
Yeah, at the Australian
So
job.
then you would have never got that message if you didn't stay at that job.
Yeah.
What about that message specifically changed your aspect or changed your outlook on things?
She read my cards maybe once or twice, I believe. And every time I would get the chills and I could not stop crying. Like, just bawling. Because everything was just so reassuring. Mm-hmm. And that really helped change my mindset on a lot of things and my perspective. And I don't want to say too much on what she said because I am a firm believer of don't spill your, you know what I mean? You never know who's listening, whose energy is very real. But she basically told me that I need to trust my gut more and my intuition is really well. Like, things that I already know, I need to trust. And she said my 30s are going to be great and I just need to trust myself and that I'm on a creative path for a reason to just like lean into that.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
That's just made me trust myself more and be like, you know what? Like, for example, literally yesterday, Sydney, one of my best friends, she hit me up for a position for a front desk at a med spa for $30 an hour. $30 an hour is good money, but it's full time. And yeah, I would be working 40 hours a week. And I was like, ooh, I was torn. But then I had to sit myself down and be like, Robin, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to work at a med spa. I'm here to branch out creatively.
To share your art with the world.
Yeah. And I'm really grateful that I have a good job right now. It's a part-time job where I'm making pretty good money for only working 3 days.
Yeah.
And I don't want to jeopardize that.
And that's like a long-term thing. It's not like you only have 2 months here.
Yeah, it's a long-term. So
yeah. That's awesome, though. Like, I'm so proud of you for making that choice because the creative, it's a hard thing, but creativity is so important. And you've already been down the path of working to the bone. You've already done that life. And for you to choose you is awesome. That's awesome.
It was a hard choice, but yeah. Really, though, I just had to choose myself. And I have to then be firm in my choices and trust myself. You just have to trust yourself. And that's what I'm learning. Just to trust myself. And at the end of the day, I have always lived under I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. For the past maybe couple years, I've been more like, but I'm going back into that mindset. You don't have to like how I live my life. You don't have to respect it. You don't have to, you could talk as much shit about it as you want, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Because it's your life.
Because it's my life. And we're only here for a short time. For 80 years if we're lucky, so.
A second in the grand scheme of things.
But that being said, because I want to do a lot of art.
Yeah.
I don't want to just act. I want to do.
I mean, I'm not just acting.
Yeah, you do so much art.
Too much sometimes. Oh, God.
Yeah. For me, now that I've been here for a month, or a little over a month, and I've got the steady job, it's just finding a routine.
Yeah.
And sticking with it.
I feel like
with that art.
Definitely, I feel like with your new income that you know is going to be pretty stable so far, and if the history is good, if the pattern of the amount of money that you get every week is good, you're going to be able to make choices to have the ability to invest in yourself and in your art and in your creativity. So you'll be able to pay for classes.
Yes.
You'll be able to pay for new headshots when that time comes.
And that is a very new feeling for me is to have financial stability. I've never been able to be in a position where I can pay for headshots and not be like stressed out about it. Where I can now sign up for these like apps and stuff and not be stressed out about it. That's very new for me, and it's a very hard feeling to get used to, because still in the back of my head I'm always like I had a dream that I woke up with $300 in my bank, and I was like, but I trust myself to still make it work, even if I did wake up with $300.
That's me right now.
I'd be good. I'd be good. But it's a new feeling, and I would like to, and this goes back to finding routine and just getting disciplined with myself. I would like to stick with this feeling because it's nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Just to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me all last year. I was able to breathe. It was so nice. This year has not turned out to be that way, but it's going to get better.
It's not like this, it's
definitely a roller coaster. Financial is adulting.
They don't give you a rule book,
They really, especially for our unique path. There's people who've done our things like we've done things, but there's nobody who's done things the way we've done things.
And that's what I feel like as well. As creatives, and I've said this for a long time, we can't get used to or get this idea of a right or a wrong way to do things. Mm-hmm. There's only our way to do things. You know what I mean? And that's with every creative, and like,
you could be inspired by people's journeys. You can take inspiration. You could take ideas from people's life, but you can't imitate it.
And whether that be with your career, with your family structure, with your relationships, your friendships, your relationships with your parents, all of it, you know what I mean? Like, it's all very unique to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that, like, if you're like a dentist, that's not unique to you, or if you're like just a regular 9-to-5, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure right now, especially now that we've gone back into conservative norms. There's a lot of pressure to like start a family and like build a home and like do things like that, especially now that we're older. But it's like, no.
You don't have to.
We don't have to.
Your journey doesn't have to look like everybody else's. It can look like yours, and that's okay. It can be ugly sometimes. It could be beautiful sometimes. It could be messy sometimes. You should see behind the scenes.
My life is messy all the time, but it's still beautiful.
It's still beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's really what it comes down to. That's what more people need to realize. They need to take a step back, stop trying to fit in, and just own who they are individually, uniquely, beautifully who they are. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. So for me, like the podcast I just posted today, which I don't know when this is going to be posted, but I talk about balancing survival jobs and creativity, and it's been a very hard journey for me. And so like what you just talked about, you did work throughout that. You did do acting things throughout that time period. Yeah. Like you did your web series. You and I made videos together.
Our quarantine videos. We were on a schedule, man. We were working with Aidan then. We were
busting them out.
It, yeah.
I was so proud of us. We did fight. We bickered a lot because I had a different vision than she had sometimes.
Because we're both perfectionists in a way, and we both always think we're right.
Yeah.
So
we are. Well, we are.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to compromise sometimes.
Yeah. Especially when we both have a very clear vision of how we want things, and those visions do not align.
No.
Then it's.
And
but most of the time they align, and I love it.
Yeah. Especially when it's good, it's real good. I had so much fun filming those, and I felt like it was so cathartic too.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, that helped set me up on this. It helped propel me to who I am. It was a baseline for my TikToks. It was a baseline for this YouTube platform. It was very important for me to be able to do those.
You already had all the equipment.
Yeah. As an actor.
Yeah. He had the box lights.
And I love cameras and stuff.
Yeah. Tripods, all of that. But when we actually used it and built sets and like rehearsed
it was so
little
fun.
Costumes and makeup, it was a lot of fun.
And we had no other roommates at this time. Everybody had moved out, or we had one and he was never there.
Crazy.
We just did whatever. It was so much fun. We had a lot of freedom during that time.
We did. It was honestly, and I don't mean to romanticize this time because it was very stressful at the same time, and don't get me, people were dying.
Yes,
obviously, but it was crazy to have so much free time and it'd just be us.
Yes.
And this was actually right after a time period where Aidan and I our friendship was very much on the rocks. Aidan and I had gone through a really, really hard, rough patch where I owed him a lot of money. And
that wasn't the reason for the rough patch.
No, but
I'm sure it added to it.
It added a layer.
But I don't think it did necessarily.
And we weren't speaking to each other. We were...
Oh, I was so upset with her for some reason.
It was like... We didn't mean to get on each other's nerves, but Aidan would say something and it would set me off. Same thing. I would say something and it would set him off. And then it was just...
We were snappy with each other. Very snappy.
You know how they say Scorpio and Aries, they're either like best friends or they are... And that time...
We were arch enemy time.
And it was like every little thing Aidan did pissed me off. Every little thing. And I know he didn't mean to, but it was like I could hear him speaking through the walls and it would irritate me. It would like, I could feel it in my skin and it was like...
I think that also added to the fact that we were together for so many hours. Like, I feel like we had been living together for that hot minute at that point. And also what I think it was... Robin was coming into her own and trying to figure out her own life. I'm used to the Robin that I grew up with. I'm used to the Robin that I knew. Robin growing up was a very like, okay, let's do it. Or like,
I never wanted to be alone.
Yeah.
So it was always...
She loved having company and she loved just going along with things. She wasn't like one to... She made plans. I feel like you made plans, but you were a yes-ander in a lot of ways. You didn't, like, retaliate that much. You went along. You were a good little Texas woman. You know what I mean? And coming here and finding your way was rough for me because then I didn't get to just have my best friend whenever I wanted my best friend because she wanted her alone time, which I've come to learn is important.
It's important.
It is very important.
And then, so we got into a really, really big fight. I don't remember, again, over what, but I remember I was in Aidan's room.
Oh, yes.
And this is when he said he didn't care if he was my friend anymore.
I was like...
I knew he meant it. The way he said it, and I was like, so you don't want to be my friend? And he was like, I'm indifferent about it, or something like that. And I was like, Then,
We were so...
It was crazy. Again, I have no clue. But I don't know if it was a week later or something later, we had tried to then rekindle our friendship again. We were like, let's give it another shot.
I was super depressed at this time, too. Like, for me, post-graduation depression, I had gotten fired from one of my serving jobs. And our roommate was just insane, one of them.
Oh, my gosh.
She was insane.
Yeah, so that was a whole nother added stress.
There was a lot of layers that went into us acting the way we did, and for me acting the way I did, and my mindset behind all of it. But there was this one day where I was like super depressed, and Robin and I at the time had AMC stub passes, and I still do. And we no, but she was like, let's go watch a movie, and I was like, oh, I guess I think I should. And so I met you, or we went together to the city. And
I think we met each other.
I had been eating junk food that whole day. Pickles, soda, chip, no water. It was a lot. And I've told this story before, but I met her and we went to the movie, and there I had popcorn and icy, and I brought pickles with me. Like, we were having a great snacking time. And then afterwards, we were in the train station, and I think we had to transfer trains, so we were at the second stop.
Yeah.
It was Financial District where we were at, where we had to transfer to a second train. And I just didn't feel good. What I felt like is I had to use the restroom really bad. That's what it felt like. Like, I had to go right that second. My stomach was just like, it was crazy. And then I like leaned against the pole and I was like, oh, Robin, I don't feel so good. And like, for me, everything went blurry and just kind of...
couldn't see.
Yes, it just was insane. And then Robin, what were you thinking in that second?
So you're telling me you don't feel good. You're saying your vision's blurry, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. And then all of a sudden...
Then I tried to go sit down at the bench, and I lost control of my feet. And I just started running across the platform. And I couldn't control it. I genuinely could not stop until the very last minute when I threw myself on the ground. And like, I don't know, but like from here up was over the platform. over the platform.
So scary.
Mid-thigh down was on concrete. I don't know how I pulled myself up from that, but then a homeless man helped me, came up, and the whole time Robin was?
Shaking the whole time.
She's not a fight or flight.
No.
What are you? Tell him what you are.
I'm a freezer.
She's a freezer. Yeah, but it's okay. We all have different.
Well, except I'm getting better now. I'm getting better now because I've been in other situations. Like when I got a knife pulled on me, I didn't freeze. I shook.
Oh yes.
But I didn't freeze. But in this moment, yeah, I froze because from my point of view, Aidan's been extremely depressed. We're not friends. I don't know what the fuck he's eating all day. I don't know what the hell he's been going through all day. All of a sudden, he books it towards the platform, and it looked like he wanted to jump off of the platform into the train. That's what it looked like. And I'm telling you, by the grace of God, really, that he lifted himself up because he was in
the tracks.
Essentially.
I wasn't in it.
He booked it, ran, and I was
just trying to sit down.
I did not know what to do. And then the homeless man was yelling at Aidan. And
No. The homeless man helped me up. There was this
guy.
middle-aged Dominican man who was yelling at me. Like, you dumbass, that's why you shouldn't be playing around. You can't be playing around.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Yes, and I started bawling at that point. Bawling. And then Robin came and got me. And
we went up the stairs.
I wedged, thankfully a train wasn't coming, but one did come.
Yeah.
I wedged myself in between the pole, and I just stood there making I felt safe inside of that pole. But the man was still yelling at me, and I just remember going, Robin, make him stop, make him stop, make him stop. And then we went upstairs to the world. I literally do you remember this? I got on my knees and started praying immediately. Do you remember that? No, I started praying immediately. It was insane. And Robin was looking up the nearest hospital. We walked to the hospital, which was thankfully 2 blocks away.
We were there till 6 in the morning.
It was late. It was early.
And then the pandemic happened a few days after.
I was just dehydrated. Turns out I was just dehydrated.
Drink your water, kids. Drink your water. Because that could have been oh my God. That would have been crazy.
What a way to go. And then my mom died. Let's talk about that. I feel like I've obviously talked about this plenty of times, but still got 25 to go. So yeah, from set the scene. I haven't talked about this with you anywhere before, so this is new. My mom, Peggy, had told me earlier on that she was going to pass. This was just late December, early January. Yeah. She sat me down. She told me all of this. So
I remember you calling me. I was on a trip with my family, and you had called me, and you were crying, and you said that Peggy had given you a talk and let you know that things weren't looking good, and you were like, the doctors, they had told her that she could do XYZ, and you were like, but I know she's not going to do it. And I remember I was in the bathroom and we were talking and you were crying. I felt so bad. I didn't know what to do. I talked to my mom about it and she was like, well, you never know. She could do this, she could do this. And I remember telling you that and you being like, Robin, there's no, you were like.
I don't remember that conversation at all.
You don't?
That's crazy.
I do. I was on vacation with my family. It was my parents and my brother. And you had called on us in the bathroom. And it was so, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. But, I felt so bad.
We were still kids. I was 24. She was 23. We were still babies.
Yeah.
We were still babies. And
I remember that, yeah.
That was rough. And so, fast forward, we're back home here in New York City. We live together at this point. I was at one of my other friends helping her with auditions and self-tapes or what have you. And my mom, Shauna, was texting me. And she was like, which side note, here's a clip of me doing an unboxing the moment she was texting me. Okay? The same day that Mom Peggy passed away and all the craziness.
I forgot you were doing an unboxing.
Crazy. But she kept on texting me hey, I need to talk to you, but Robin has to be with you. Or I need to talk to you. It was hour after hour, the same text message over and over.
Mind you, at this time, I was with my ex-boyfriend at the time. We're walking the Brooklyn Bridge. I didn't have any service on the bridge. And we were on the bridge for a long time. We were dilly-dallying for a long time. We get into Soho and we're about to go to a ramen place and I hook up to public Wi-Fi And I had all these missed calls from your mom, from your sister, from Julia's mom, from my mom. So many missed calls.
How did that feel for you when you saw all of those?
I was like,
my
your sister too. I was like, Chris, okay. So I think I called my mom first, and she was like, hey, are you with Aidan right now? And I was like, no, I'm in Soho. Like, I'm like 30 minutes from the house. And she was like, well, something happened to Peggy, and you need to get to him, and you need to call Shauna. So I was like, okay. So I called Shauna. My ex and I, we get on the train, we're heading back, and I remember we were where we used to live. The train was pretty close. It was like a 5-minute walk. You walk down the street and you take a right. And I remember we were on the corner before you hit Snyder, and your mom had called me, and she was like, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. And she was like, I'm going to be up front. She was like, Peggy didn't make it, but we're not going to tell Aidan yet. She was like, and I was like, I remember being there on the phone, and again, I'm a freezer. So I'm on the phone, and I'm like, I didn't know what to say. My ex was like, what's going on? What's going on? I didn't know what to say. And yeah, your mom told me, and she was like, I just need you to be there for him. And she was like, don't say anything. As far as he knows, she is just sick and in the ambulance, and everything is... She was like, don't say anything, don't... she was like, I want Kristen to be the one. And I'm like, okay. So I brace myself before I get in the apartment, and I'm freaking out. I'm like...
And for me, what had happened at this point was, like, Monica called me randomly. I was, like I said, doing the unboxing, living my best life. And Monica called me, and she was like, hey, Aidan, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, Monica, what's up? And she was like, nothing. And I said, Monica, I know something's wrong. Tell me what it is right now. And like, I never really talked to Monica like that. And I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I knew something was wrong. Call it what you want, but I knew something was wrong. And then my mom called, she didn't tell me anything. And I said, is it Mom Peggy? And Monica stayed quiet. And then Mom Shauna literally called me, and I answered, and I said, tell me what's happening now. I was livid. And I'm not nice when I'm angry.
I don't.
Oh, that's the Aries in me for real. The Mexican. But yeah, it was insane what was going on at that point. And then I was alone with our new roommate who we just met, who thankfully was caring and sensitive and giving as much of their energy to me as they could, and their sympathy. And I was just breaking down. I was on the phone with my sister. My sister was walking me through every step to make. Like, because my mom Peggy was in the hospital not looking good. Yeah. That's all I knew. And I felt and I knew something else was happening, but I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to know it. And like, my sister literally was walking me through everything, walking me through getting a shower, walking me through packing things, because they knew that Robin was on her way. And they were like, Robin's on her way. And it was so much for me. So then you got there, and I don't remember a lot of this.
So I get there. And again, they told me not to say anything.
That must have been so heavy.
Aidan, oh my, it was so hard because you're there crying to me, and you're like, they're saying she's going to be okay. She's at the hospital. And the whole time,
you knew she was dead.
I don't mean to laugh.
No, we can't now.
Yeah, like, I was just like, I didn't know. Part of me was like, don't lie to him. But then I'm like, I have to lie to him because that's fucked up if I say, yeah, but then I'm like, well, that's fucked up too, because if Aidan knew that my mom passed away and he didn't tell me anything, I'd be fucking pissed. But I'm like, no way, whatever, I'm gonna keep it for Kristen. So I get your packing by the time I walked in, and I just remember I set my ex to he's my boyfriend at the time. He went to my room, we talked for a little bit.
I remember just hugging you and crying so much.
My ex at the time had a car.
Which, so thankful to him.
Yeah,
so
still thankful. Shauna had bought a flight for us to go
home.
Yes. And
this was chaos. This is Shauna moment for sure.
Shauna moment. She meant well. She really meant well. But I remember she had bought it originally for...
We tried our hardest to get out that night, but it was so late in the evening that it just didn't work out.
She bought us a flight, but we missed it or something. It was like in JFK. We thought it was at LaGuardia, so we had to LaGuardia. It turns out it was JFK. We head over there, but we missed it. Like, we didn't get there in time.
Yes. And then the next day, she ended up getting us a ticket, right? And she was like, well, this is going to be for whatever. And so we just headed to the JFK, but turns out she got it for Newark, which is in New Jersey, or what have you. And so then we headed to New Jersey, and she was like, actually, it's for LaGuardia. So her boyfriend, Robin's boyfriend at the time, was driving us to all these places, and he left us at New Jersey because he thought that was the one. We all did. And so we ended up just Ubering to LaGuardia.
Yeah. In the car ride.
This was that night. So the night before.
Yeah.
In the car ride, on the way there.
I'm in the backseat with Aidan.
She's in the backseat with me. Her ex is driving. I don't know what the conversation was on your end, if you knew that this phone call was about to happen. But Peggy, she couldn't call me. Grandpa was on the phone with me. Mom Shauna was on the phone with me. And then they got sister on the phone with me. And then they all told me that Mom Peggy had passed away, which was a lot. And I just, what I remember was like just looking and being, literally it felt like a movie. I was like, no, over and over and over. That was such an intense.
I feel like I saw your heartbreak in that moment. It was so sad.
It was devastating.
I didn't know what to do. It was so sad, man. Like, it was so sad. You looked so sad and heartbroken.
I was.
It was so sad.
Emotions are weird.
But I remember in the moment too, part of me was like, don't laugh. A little uncomfortable a little bit too.
Yeah.
It was like,
that's me right now. When emotions get too much,
Yeah,
you don't know what to do.
it was uncomfortable, so yeah. That was crazy. So then, yeah, boom, cut to the next morning.
We ended up getting our flight, and that was crazy because we had to sit separately. So I had to have my breakdown in between two strangers. Robin had her little window seat, and
I remember you had a breakdown on the plane, and then people were staring at you, and
I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, because like
my
fuck
mom
you.
died.
Yeah, literally. I wanted to tell everybody, fuck you, for looking at him. But yeah, it was getting off the plane was hard, and then there was the drive back to Seguin.
My God, our friend Kaylee picked us up, and that was rough. Me walking into the house without her for the first time, it took me 35 minutes to go inside. We stopped at Monica's first. We stopped at the water tower first. Oh, we did stop at the water tower, and I threw up.
Yeah.
I remember throwing up.
I think that's just when it hit, for real, and then...
Because it was a little bit lighter in the drive there, but then as soon as we got to Seguin, it felt like
It hit,
whoosh.
Yeah.
Did you feel it?
It was, it was very clear we were not there for, fun. We were not there for fun.
That was an experience I never want to experience, but I know we're going to have to experience this again at some point in life, which is unfortunate.
It's something that everybody goes through, and it's sad that
Truly.
you went through it very young.
Yeah. Could have been younger.
But everybody goes through it. Like, my dad's going through it now, with his parents. So, everybody goes through it, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that happened. Do you remember my tics that I had?
Forgot you had a tic.
I had 3.
Yeah.
So there would be times where I would just think about Mom Peggy or something. Yes, it was a weird tic. I had my arm thing that I did. It would just happen. Especially when I would have to think about it, because I was in charge of everything. And did I kind of put that on myself? Yes, but also I was Mom Peggy's only child. So I was in charge of everything, and I didn't trust anybody else with anything.
Yeah.
I had to, and Grandpa at this point Grandpa's not the type who wants things around when somebody passes. He wants there to be no evidence of them, which we all grieve in our own way. We all grieve in our own way. And I'm the complete opposite. I still have some of Mom Peggy's shirts in my closet right now. But I had to like go through all the stuff. I had to pack everything up. I had to get like arrangements made for the most part. And I mean, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way because I'm proud of everything I did. I made the obituary papers myself.
That was eye-opening too, how much work goes into planning a funeral and doing like a celebration of life. All of that. It was like, whoa.
It was a lot. Yeah. And then we went to spread the ashes. Did you come with me for that?
Yeah, I went. That wasn't...
Did you come?
Easy too. Yeah, I have photos of you. It was me, you, and
to
Grandpa.
the beach? Mm-hmm. And Lily and brother.
Oh, yeah, we met them there.
Yeah. It was a lot.
But I was in the back seat with Xander.
Fair enough. It was a time for sure.
Yeah. And then we went to her old house, right?
Kingsbury? Yeah, or McQueenie?
And the one by the beach. We went to some house on the beach.
Oh, that was her uncle and aunts. That was her favorite uncle and aunt. Aunt Phyllis? It was... Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. That was a hard time. And I wouldn't have wanted to go through it with anybody else.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah. If I was going to witness any of my friends'
mother's death
passing away, I don't know.
My friends, I am so grateful because it wasn't just you. It took a village. Yeah. Kaylee, Julia, Monica
for sure.
Mom Shauna, sure. sister, Grandma Loopy. There was so many people who...
Danielle.
She
got you a massage.
Yes, Danielle. My friend Jalissa Guevara, she got me a blanket that has Mom Peggy's face on it and stuff. Like, my friends really came together to help me during that time because everybody knew how important Mom Peggy was to me because everybody called her Mom Peggy. It was Mom Peggy. So I'm so grateful for my village, my support system.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a crazy time. And we were in Seguin for a long time after that.
Yeah, we were. Because we were. And we were still, here's another thing. This was like towards the middle end of the pandemic. And we were still getting Daddy Trump money. And I will say, without that government assistance at that time, I would not have been able to figure out that whole scenario. Because I didn't have to think about paying rent. I didn't have to think about eating food. I didn't have to think about these things because I had money. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
So grateful.
It was not that there's ever an opportune time for your mother to pass away, but it was very conveniently timed. Thanks, universe.
Silly little universe. But yeah. So let's get out of that. Let's throw those heavy feelings away. So what are some of the Texas? We're gonna always talk about Texas a little bit, so just get used to it. One stereotype about Texans that is true. We talk about Texas. We love Texas.
Listen, you don't grow up doing the Pledge of the Allegiance to Texas every single day and not have a little bit of instilled in you.
You don't.
You don't grow up.
We were indoctrinated.
Yes, going to little dances in school and doing the little square dances and not have it ingrained in you. You don't grow up learning nothing but Texas history for years and years and years. The only history we've ever learned was Texas history and not have it ingrained. And you don't grow up 20 minutes down the street from the Alamo.
Literally 35. Still
on the highway.
Truly though. I mean, the girlies that get it. And everyone in Texas gets it. Even the ones who move to Texas that aren't from there, they inevitably get it. Because it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. I love New York. And I want to have a place here for forever. But I want to have my house when I get older in Texas.
Yeah, it would be a good place to retire.
Yeah, and I don't know. What are your biggest differences? What things do you miss when you're here? Those kind of things. From Texas to New York.
Well, one of the reasons why I liked New York better than Texas is because I hate to drive. And you gotta have a car to get anywhere. At least with our hometown. We don't have, there's Ubers now.
Like one.
Yeah, but like, you gotta have a car or something to get by.
But being for Texas, what I've learned, especially interviewing, like my interview with Kat, Seguin's like, we are pretty lucky to have everything so close. Because in Seguin, everything's 2 minutes away by car. So,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of Texas towns where everything is like 15, 20, 30 minutes away, which is crazy. Like if we lived in Geronimo,
Yeah, or like if you stayed
Navarro.
in Kingsbury or something.
Crazy.
There's nothing out there. Food is better in Texas. Said it.
food, said it
It's
once, said
so
it
much
time
better
and
in
time
Texas.
again.
The prices.
The portions.
Yeah. Fatties. But it's true. The only thing I don't care for is a lot of people's mentality, man. Especially living back down there while the election and everything was going on. Oh my gosh. It's so hard to form a relationship with these people and grow to love them and then find out their political views and know that that is not them at their core. They're just so listening to the wrong media. They're brainwashed. I don't know what it is. And then I try to explain that to them. Like, for example, I had a coworker that I really liked. She's an older Hispanic woman, 50s, single, lives on her own, not married, older kids. And she voted for, and I'm like, how? You live below the poverty line. You're single. You're not married.
You're Latina.
You're an older Hispanic, you're Mexican woman. How could you vote for this man? And she said, well, a woman can be president. I said, there's so many people with this mentality. I'm like, who told you as women that you can't be the president? It's just so eye-opening that a lot of people down south don't want to do the work. They're stuck in these ways, or finger pointing at everybody instead of just taking accountability. And it's people in my own family too that it's like, these are Mexican people that are voting and have these ideologies that think that they're white. We're not white. So stop, like, it's just really hard to know that a lot of people mean well in their core, but are just so
vastly different in their thinking.
Yes.
It's like from who we know versus who they are as themselves is very different. And I feel like it's also like, I haven't gone back. I'm thankful. I'm grateful that I haven't gone back.
Yeah.
I go back to live.
Yeah.
I go back a lot. But I've never been there longer than a month. Yeah. I've never had to
step outside of the circle of people that you see all the time.
Yes, because every time I go back, I have a set group of people that I have to see every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I add other ones in and just switch it up.
Camp, you're doing...
Yeah, there's always a reason. Yeah. Usually there's always like a set routine. There's a roster, I should say.
But I feel like you can kind of feel it in a way, like when you go to HEB and you get all these stairs, or how you don't feel comfortable wearing like shorts.
Yeah, I mean, I do and I don't, because there's times when I do feel comfortable and I just say fuck it to all of them. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I definitely do get those stares, and I've talked about this time and time again. You can tell the difference between New York stares and Texas stares.
It's like a questioning stare.
Yeah, Texas stares are like disgust and questioning and like belonging. You could tell it's like, oh, you don't belong here kind of thing. I'm born and raised here. Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Just because I choose to be myself and I choose to express myself however I want because it's my life, doesn't mean you get to decide.
But if it makes you feel better, I get those stares too.
No, I know.
I would get those stares all the freaking time, and it's like,
because you're expressing yourself. Yeah. You choose to wear crop tops. You choose to wear booty shorts, and they're like, no, mijita, you need to stay presentable.
If you're over 130 pounds, it's illegal to show some skin.
I mean, and part of me feels like that's... Part of me, and I'm just saying this, part of me feels like that's not true because there's so many plus-size women and men all throughout Texas.
Oh, so many.
But it's not even the fact that you're over 100 and whatever pounds. It's because you're confident. It's because you own who you are.
Choose to wear the things that I wear, being over 100 some pounds.
Yeah.
It's, because where we are from, let's keep it above, one of the highest obesity rates in the world. There are big people, and I've had some be extremely hypocritical to me and give me looks like, you should not be wearing that. Even when I was younger, you shouldn't dance like that. I remember you can bleep her name. We were at a dance one time. We were doing a line dance, like the electric slide. Mm-hmm. And there was like a part where you would do a little jump, and she was like, big girls like that shouldn't do the jump, Robin. Big girls, we don't do that. And I'm like, okay, first of all, girl, yes, I'm a big girl, but like, don't tell me how to dance. Don't tell me how to live my life. And there are so many people with that mentality. Like last time when I was down in Texas, I remember I was waiting tables, and I wear short shorts, but it's not even that they're short. I have big legs and a big
thighs.
Yeah. whether they're long or not, they're gonna look sexualized just because the shape of my body. I can't help it.
She has that Disney mom body.
I can't help it. So I remember one time I was at work and my coworker, and I don't know if this was a lie or not. Part of me makes me feel like she was just making it up just to talk. But she told me that some old lady said something about my shorts, that I was too big to be wearing shorts as short as I was. That I was too big to be showing it off. And then my coworker said that she stood up for me and was like, that girl works harder than anybody I know, and she looks good, and yada yada. And for a second it got in my head, because I was like, are they too short? Like, am I too big? But then I was like, this hating ass woman. You're such a hater. You're so insecure with yourself. You're so sad. And somebody told you in your life that you were too big to wear something.
Yeah.
And now you're spewing that to somebody else. And it makes me feel bad, and it makes me sad for them.
Definitely. And I feel like that's one thing I'm so grateful for New York for. Because I've always been confident. I have. But, I mean, it's rocky. But I feel like New York has really instilled my confidence and really just let me blossom. I don't have to think about what I wear. You don't have to think about what you wear. We could just go boop, 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 da, 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 and call it a day. And I feel like people in the South, in general, don't have the luxury of that because they're so in their head about what everybody else thinks that they're living in everybody else's world. They're not living in their own world, which is sad.
It is sad.
And I do feel bad for them.
Me too. And then I empathize as well because, like you said, they're thinking about what people are thinking about them and what they're going to say about them. And like for me, for example, a lot of people know my dad. He's very well known in town. So then I always feel like I kind of have to act a certain way. Just a little bit less...
Yeah, and it is weird. There is a different vibe in Texas. It's so much slower. It's so much different. It's so much more... Everybody's in your business. There's less of a freedom that we have here. Like here, we can walk down the streets and spew 73 cuss words and nobody's going to bat an eye. In Texas, you say the C word one time and everybody's like...
Yeah, it is different. And again... I don't know if it's just where we're at in our lives right now, but having lived there as an adult, is not for me. When we're older, when we're slower, and things have slowed down for us, and we have the luxury of long days. Mm-hmm. But when you're young, it's like those long days are just, and there's nothing to do.
Sunday fun day.
But fish, hunting,
eating,
hiking,
eating again.
Eating some more.
Which what we're going to do after this.
That being said, though, I do think that there is something magical about our hometown. And I've said this for a long time because my parents, they're from a small town in Texas. And as far as hometown, small towns could be, Seguin could be a lot worse. And as many people as there are that are big-headed and ignorant and disgusting, bigoted. There's so many good people there, man. So many genuinely hilarious, kind-hearted, like some of the best people you'll ever meet.
Truly talented.
So talented. There's so much talent in Seguin. It's crazy.
It really is.
It's crazy.
I'm grateful to be from Seguin.
Yeah.
I genuinely am.
Prime location, right, between Austin and San Antonio.
And I really feel like we're more purple than we are red. We're definitely not blue. But I don't feel like we're like red.
Yeah. At least we're
Seguin.
Yeah.
Yes. Seguin, I don't feel...
Though you would be surprised because though there is a big staunch difference between, like, there's a lot of rich people and then there's a lot of poor people. There's a lot in between, but there's a lot of poor people. It's still, having lived there again, it's crazy how many of the poor people still have these stupid mentalities.
And more, it's 9 times out of 10, it's the lower income people who have those mentalities.
Yes. And then that just, again, makes me feel bad because it's lack of knowledge, 100%. It's lack of critical thinking skills.
Lack of education. Which in Texas, they do indoctrinate you to a certain degree.
They do. 100%. They don't care about education. That's why I was able to graduate owing 140 hours. They do not care. Yeah. Kids are falling every day through the cracks, and they have since the beginning. So you have to take that into account, too. But again, there's still really good people.
Yeah. I guess the good people make up for
They do.
The mindset of a lot.
They really do, actually. They really do. And there's so many random people, too. So I worked at a bar when I was down in Seguin. So many random people that I feel like I wouldn't have ever met stories like that anywhere else.
That's crazy. I don't know. I feel like we should be wrapping this up soon. Yeah. 9 minutes turned to 44 real quick. So I guess I usually have this list of 6 questions to ask all my guests, but Robin has answered all of them before. I don't know. I feel like, let me just think of some off the dome.
I'll think some too, so you can answer.
Okay, great.
I have a question.
Who is the celebrity that most inspires you?
Celebrity?
Celebrity.
To be honest, I don't really look up to celebrities because I feel like
Inspires.
I do feel inspired, but for me to feel inspired, you need to do more. Personally. Like, I need to see some philanthropy work. You need you to do something besides just be a celebrity. Quinta's inspirational.
Quinta.
Same thing. Work from the ground, way up. The woman who played Baby Reindeer, inspirational. She won so many awards. Amazing, phenomenal actress. Goes to show don't ever stop.
Yeah, genuinely.
Who's yours?
Well, mine was Kiki. Raven Simone, obviously. I
Yeah.
feel like her journey, well, Raven Simone always, but also like growing up with her and then watching her grow up was just so inspirational and just really reassured me that I'm on my right track. Like I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like watching Raven come out, watching Raven own who she is, watching Raven go back to That's So Raven and still be able to shine and own her individuality, but still keep her career growing strong. Like, I think it's, and then watching her pivot too with her realities and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I think she's so inspirational to me. One day I'm going to work with her.
She's prevalent in your personality.
Yes, but I think that's Raven Baxter more so than Raven Simone.
That's true.
And I know the difference between
That's
the
true.
two. I do. I feel like That's So Raven is the reason I'm an actor. And so naturally, watching that for decades, Raven Baxter is going to show up.
Yeah.
And I can't control it sometimes. It just happens. But the same could be said about you too.
That's true.
Because
That's
we have a
true.
lot of the same
do.
personality. We have a lot of the same traits that we do, mannerisms.
Yeah. A lot of the same quips.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's Raven Baxter and you too, bitch.
You're not the only one that liked That's So Raven. That was the only Disney Channel show I really liked. That was more of a Nickelodeon girl.
She raised a whole generation.
But
yeah, I'd stick with that. Issa Rae, like you said, is very, very
yeah,
whatchamacallit, inspirational and just
I like just
the ones who
writers
work
and they do-
hard, the
yes.
ones who have grinded, the ones who didn't come from any
They
kind
do
of
all
nepotism.
of it. Acting, they do back,
Editing,
they do all of it. Yeah,
all of it.
producing,
all of it.
Yeah.
It's just really, really cool. What's one thing that you're proud of yourself for?
Oh, I'm proud of myself for a lot of things.
Recent.
Just moving back here and getting that done and not listening to people tell me not to move back here. And I'm proud of a lot of things. Yeah. You?
Following through with this podcast
Heck
and
yeah.
really, because you know I'd be giving up on things. I have a lot of failed projects, but I have really stuck with this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Next question. Here's my favorite question from one of my favorite podcasts. If there is one law you could make that everybody had to follow, what would it be?
My law would be that everybody is given access to hygiene or just given the basic necessities for hygienic purposes, i.e. running water for a shower,
Access
dental
to a shower.
care, stuff to brush your teeth, access to shampoo, conditioner, period stuff. You know what I mean? Like all of that should just be a human right. And there's so many people, especially living in New York, y'all know if there's an empty train, don't get on it. And you know why. And then there's certain things that make it hard for everybody else, but then it makes you I feel so bad for the person who actually, is living that life. Are you kidding me? We're only having to deal with it for like a couple minutes. This is their life. And that's so inhumane. That's so sad.
Mine would be everybody has to walk in somebody completely opposite shoes for 24 hours. Like you have to live their life for a whole 24
like
hours.
Like a wife swap kind of?
But like you're not treated any differently. Because wife swap, there is that kind of like, it's a little different. With this, it's like you're just in their life. Like, the people around you don't know that your life, that you've been swapped. Like, you have to genuinely experience everything that complete opposite person has experienced for 24 hours. Or anybody that you're prejudiced against, you have to live their life for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Till you get it.
Yeah. Here's a question that I overheard at the bar the other day. It was a would you rather, and it made me go, huh, which one would I rather do? Would you rather never eat any kind of sauce ever again? Any sauce. Or never kiss ever again?
No sauce ever.
Or no any kind of kisses. No kissing.
Even like cats and stuff?
Nothing.
Like,
no, not even a little animal. Little.
no,
nothing.
I love sauce! I love gravy. And ranch? Ranch?
I know.
Wingstop ranch?
Honestly, I was torn for the longest because I love a good little kiss. But right now, where I'm at in my life, my sauce to kisses
ratio
quota is,
I get more
sauce. Kisses.
You blocked me.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's not your body, just your arm. No, definitely my sauce to kiss ratio is very sauce heavy.
Yeah.
I would choose kisses because I'm gonna have kids one day. I'm gonna want to kiss their little cheeks. I'm gonna have a husband. I'll just make my partner eat some sauce and get it on their lips.
You're just gonna have dry rubs for life. Just dry rub everything. Try everything. Yeah.
And there's ranch packets. I won't be.
Yeah, I mean you'll get the flavor essence.
Yeah. I'll be alright. I need some kisses. Come here, give me some sugar. Yeah. That's it. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I think this has been a great talk. I think this has been a lot of fun. And you were worried we didn't know what to talk about.
Okay, listen, it's not that I was worried we weren't gonna have anything to talk about. It's that Aidan and I never do anything with structure. And I'm trying to be an adult and structure and plan things out a little bit more. Just a little bit of thought. Not always on the seat of our pants. That's all I asked for.
We are on the seat of our pants a lot. Well, thank you, and thank you so much for listening and watching this. If you have resonated with any of this, please feel free to share this with somebody you know who can get something out of this. And be sure to hit that subscribe and like button, please. I think that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for our my other videos coming out soon. And if you want to catch up on our podcast with that episode with me, Julia, and Robin that we did, it's right here. And also all my high school shenanigans is here as well. Thank you so much, and love you, mean it. Bye! That was fun.
Cute.
Oh, let's eat.